The military race between the US and Russia is getting ever so lethal, especially with the European countries' recent aggression inside Ukraine. For that very reason, the US military cannot afford to not out-innovate Russia in the military space at this time. One asset that the US has in this race, which Russia wishes it had, is definitely Elon Musk. Don't forget to watch to the very end for the full insight into Elon Musk jetting against Russia. A versatile inventor. The popular billionaire industrialist has been bleeming with innovations that the US military can incorporate into its very military assets. One such asset is the electrifying but secretive hypersonic fighter jet that the US has been developing under Project Mayhem that would come in handy against Russia. Elon Musk is a very versatile inventor, and his genius capabilities span several products across many different industries. For instance, he has already left his mark on the EV industry by single-handedly bringing EVs to the limelight and then turning them into vehicles that people love and dream of. As a result of this, his EV company, Tesla, is the biggest in its very category, shipping the most number of electric cars for a single company last year. Tesla also happens to be the biggest automobile company, judging by its market capitalization. The military has been following up on Tesla's progress very closely and is now looking into using one of the company's greatest strengths in its hardware, battery. The U.S. Air Force has given their contract to Lockheed Martin that shall see laser weapons mounted onto fighter jets. The laser system requires an energy storage solution, and Lockheed Martin has turned to the same lithium-ion batteries powering EVs. Thanks to innovations made by Tesla, EV lithium-ion batteries have advanced to the stage that the U.S. Air Force will use them in their fighter jets. Musk is also deeply involved in the space industry, and his company, SpaceX, has quickly risen to the top of competitors, overtaking behemoths along its way. It regularly delivers payloads to the International Space Station, inclusive of crew and cargo, being the only private company to do that. Under the guidance of Musk, SpaceX is currently developing the Starship, said to be the tallest and most powerful rocket ever conceived. Reaching across the stars. Much before the Starship is even ready, Musk's SpaceX owns and operates the most powerful rockets in action today, the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, which he employs in delivering payloads to orbit for itself and other private customers. As a visionary, Musk plans to colonize Mars. That is said to be when the Starship will really come alive, making numerous trips between the Earth and Mars as it takes both cargo and the settlers onto interplanetary missions. Meanwhile, SpaceX's clients are inclusive of the U.S. military, and the company has already been cleared to deliver sensitive payloads to orbit multiple times. It has even already handled some launches for the U.S. Space Force, all to much success. Given the relationship between Musk and the U.S. military in the form of his companies, it is hardly surprising that the billionaire CEO wishes to create a supersonic jet. In a tweet, Musk exclaimed he was dying to make a supersonic jet. However, as the owner of the biggest EV company, Musk is choosing the battery-powered route by making the jet electric. It is smart to imagine Musk doesn't like the fossil-fueled powered private jet he uses and would like to get rid of it as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Musk's friends over at the U.S. Air Force are working on a secretive hypersonic air vehicle program named Mayhem. Pentagon released some details about this project some time ago that has kept war analysts on their toes for some time now. However, before we get into all the juicy details about the secretive mission Mayhem, what does a hypersonic flight really even mean? Back to basics. Let's start from the basics. As an aircraft makes its way through the air molecules near the aircraft are essentially disturbed and move around the aircraft. Exactly how the air itself reacts to the aircraft depends on the ratio of the aircraft's speed compared to the speed of sound through the air. Due to the importance of this speed ratio, aerodynamicists have made it with a special parameter called the Mach number in honor of Ernst Mach, the late 19th century physicist who focused on gas dynamics. For aircraft speeds that exceed the speed of sound, the aircraft is then said to be hypersonic. Typical speeds for hypersonic aircraft are greater than 3,000 miles per hour, and Mach number m greater than 5, that is, m greater than 5. Hypersonic aircraft, the choice for modern warfare. Brad Leland, the former program manager for Hypersonic at Lockheed Martin, commented, "Hypersonic aircraft, coupled with hypersonic missiles, could penetrate denied airspace and strike at nearly any location across a continent in less than an hour. Speed is the next aviation advancement to counter emerging threats in the next several decades." The Mayhem program was initially officially known as Expendable Hypersonic Multi-Mission Air-Breathing Demonstrator, but that switched to Hypersonic Multi-Mission ISR and Strike. Yet still, Mayhem is a part of the larger Air Force research lab effort known as Enabling Technologies for High-Speed Operable Systems, ETHOS. What U.S. Air Force wants to achieve with Mayhem? The main target is to deliver a larger class air-breathing hypersonic system that is capable of executing multiple missions along with a standardized payload interface, providing significant technological advancement and hence also future capability. The system's goal is to carry payloads 5 times the mass and double the range of the current technology capability systems. The standardized payload interface would make multiple opportunities for various payload integration within that same hypersonic system. Due to the extremely secretive nature of Mayhem, no information is yet provided about the current technology capability systems that the program requirements have been made to derive from. Furthermore, the contract document mentions that this requirement will be classified secret, possibly needing top-secret access at later stages of the requirement. But we know Mayhem possesses a program ceiling of $371 million. What payload for Mayhem? The Mayhem air vehicle will be made to carry one of 3 payloads, including area effect payload, a large unitary payload, and a responsive intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance or ISR payload. However, it's interesting to imagine what payload exactly is the Air Force interested in with Mayhem. We have put together some possible factors. That the Air Force is talking about truly distinct area effect and large unitary types strongly suggests that the very first one envisions a payload of cluster munitions or something similar, such as a group of small drones. An advanced high-explosive fragmentation warhead would also be able to provide an area effect, but would be a unitary design. Meanwhile, large unitary may cover larger warheads made to provide different kinds of effects against single targets, such as those of deep penetrating capabilities for use against bunkers and other hardened facilities. Don't forget that these are just certain possibilities, and with the information available at the moment, we can't really say for sure what the exact design of these payloads will be. The ISR package could similarly have any number of different sensors. But of course, the Air Force has previously announced that Mayhem is linked to research and development of advanced scramjet propulsion technologies and multi-cycle jet engine designs. This had appeared to point towards the work on turbine-based combined cycle, TBCC, or dual-mode scramjet engine types. The basic idea at the root of these kinds of jet engine designs is to get around the fact that scramjets and ramjets don't perform reliably at lower speeds. Coupling them with a more traditional jet turbine would allow an air vehicle to operate reliably in that lower speed range. Once applied to a reusable manned or unmanned aircraft, this engine configuration would theoretically allow for a design that will be able to fly at hypersonic speeds during the mid-course portion of a sortie and take off and land like a more traditional plane using the existing runway infrastructure. A Holy Grail capability. This has long been seen as a Holy Grail capability for a possible hypersonic aircraft. Michael White, the principal director for hypersonics in Pentagon's Office of the Director of Defense Research and Engineering for Modernization, spoke of Mayhem. Project Mayhem is to look at the next step in what the opportunity space allows relative to hypersonic cruise missile systems. And so, if you look at what we're doing right now and the sizes that we're looking at to deliver capability, you get a certain range and a certain payload to that range, and certain compatibility with the air platforms that we have today. He continued what the secret of Mayhem is all about. Project Mayhem says, okay, what happens? What can we do to build a much bigger system to deliver more effects at longer range, he continued. And so really, it's looking at that kind of evolution of capability that you might get to extend out what you can achieve with a highly efficient air-breathing platform, weapon platform, and take advantage of that efficiency, but still extend the range to significantly longer ranges than what we're doing today. It very much remains to be seen how the Air Force's Mayhem program will mature and what prototype designs it will ultimately produce. Let's hear what you think of the secret of Project Mayhem and its connection to Elon Musk in the comment section below. With that, we have come to the end of this video. Consider subscribing to join in next time for more of such interesting content.